here's a problem. Tell me if this resonates. You've got data, survey results, customer records, internal metrics, and you want to ask questions of it in plain English. You want to generate a report. And to do that, normally with AI, you got to send the data to the model, all of it. Maybe that's fine, but maybe it's sensitive. Maybe you don't want it leaving your infrastructure at all. What if AI could write code to analyze that data without ever seeing the data itself? That is what just happened. When I typed that prompt, it went to Workers AI, Cloudflare's built-in inference engine. The model didn't answer in words, right? It wrote a complete JavaScript worker, every line of it. But notice it's already calling env data, a data binding that we haven't talked about yet. We'll come back to that. But most of the time, when AI generates code, you paste it somewhere, right? You deploy it, you wait. We didn't do any of that. This code string was handed directly to the worker. No deploy step, no waiting, no worker. The worker existed for exactly as long as it needed to. And if I need it later, I can click out and I can see it. And you can see how fast that's running. And the way we give it to the AI is before that model writes a single line of code, we tell it what it has access to, not the data itself, just the shape of the interface. In fact, a TypeScript interface here. It's a definition. The model's generating JavaScript, but we describe the contract in TypeScript so it knows exactly what to call and when to call back. LLMs are pretty cool like that, right? So the model uses this. The model used env data, get AI data, exactly as described. It wrote code to call a method it was told existed, but it has no idea what's behind it. Right? It's like, when you hand your keys to a valet, you don't give them your whole keychain, your house keys, your office keys, you hand over one key, right? That's all this code gets. One key, get AI data. It can call that method, only that method. It can't see how it works. It doesn't know where the data lives, what the credentials are behind it. It doesn't even know. And the thing is it's not just the data access that we can control. This worker has no access to the internet either. It can't make outbound requests. It can't call an external API. It can't exfiltrate anything. You compose exactly what you want it to do before it runs, what data it can see, what it can reach. The model wrote the code, but we decide the rules. Here, let's run another one. So here's another demo here. We'll just kick that off. The model never saw this data, right? It's going to write the code that fetches a controlled interface. It runs in a sandbox environment with no network access, and it hands back a chart. That's the whole trick. And now I can save this report, right? So I can go and I can click save, and it's going to pop up down here, and I can open this. And again, it's super fast, right? It's on the edge. It's not a cache screenshot, right? That's the worker responding live. The same code, the same binding, the same data. But it's got this unique URL. It's a real shareable link, right? Anyone with that link gets a live report, not a PDF, not a static export. A worker that runs every time, and it's fast, right? Because it's running on Cloudflare's planetary network. It's close to wherever your users are. And here's the part that makes it interesting at scale. The worker's code is frozen, right? It's generated once and it's cached, but the data isn't. Every time someone loads this report, the worker calls that get AI data fresh. If the underlying data set updates, new survey results, new countries, corrected figures, every saved report picks that up automatically. No redeploy, no rebuild. The code is static. The data is live. Each one of these is a saved worker, right? The same code. And I can also delete them, right? Gone. No teardown script, no containers to stop. It's not a server sitting there, right? You're only paying for when you actually use it. That worker existed, it did its job, and now it costs nothing because it's literally gone. And in case you missed it, a Cloudflare worker is a small piece of JavaScript, right? Or anything that compiles to JavaScript. It runs on Cloudflare's planetary network, not on your server. It starts in milliseconds because it uses the same V8 engine as your browser. It's not a container. It's not a VM. It's serverless, right? So you only pay for what you use. No requests, no costs, right? It scales up, it scales down. And let's try this. I worked with AI a little bit on this analogy here. A regular worker is like a bus, right? It runs the same route every time. You decided where the stops are when you deployed it. It's the same road, the same behavior, every request. A dynamic worker is kind of like rideshare, right? You don't decide the route in advance. You're not even driving, right? You describe where you need it to go, It figures it out on the spot. Every ride's a little bit different. It's got a different destination, a different route, and sometimes a completely different kind of vehicle. And you only pay for the ride. I don't know if that's a great analogy, right? Because you're kind of, for the bus, you pay one thing, and for the car, you don't. So like, check this out. So I really want you to hone in on this. You only pay for when the compute's happening, right? So like, if there's an LLM call happening, you're not paying for that. I mean, or if you're using our models, but if you're like going off to someplace else and you're not when you're idle, you're idle. You're really idle. The thing is alive for this whole time, but you're only hitting when the compute happens. And that saves you a ton of money. Now, sure, if you're running code that you didn't write, code that an AI generated on the fly, the obvious question is this: how do you keep that safe? And that's what bindings are for. You compose exactly what the worker can see before it runs, not raw credentials, but an RPC interface. The worker calls a method, it never sees what's behind it. That's why AI-generated code could run and read real data from 65,000 survey respondents without the model ever touching it. The model didn't see it. The data never left the binding. All right, so workers run at the edge. It's super fast. No server required. Dynamic workers take that further. You hand them code at runtime in a sealed sandbox that you control. Bindings are the keys that you hand over, and you decide what that code can touch. And the use cases are pretty broad, right? So maybe AI agents that write and execute their own code. Platforms that run logic your users provide, right? Ideas that go from prompt to running app in seconds. The code for this demo is linked below. It's also here if you're testing it out. Deploy it yourself. It's one command, right? So if we come here, there's a deploy to Cloudflare button. Boom, you got it. You can play with it a little bit. If you want to go deeper on building agents on Cloudflare, the agents docs are linked here too. And if you're brand new to workers, I think you should start there first. I hope this quick demo inspired you to play with dynamic workers. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about building. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we'll see you real soon.